Being a photographer in today's social media landscape is like being a hamster on a wheel. You put all of your energy, your blood, sweat, and maybe even your tears into creating the best work that you can create. You have it on your phone, you upload it to your favorite social media platform, you hit send, and that thing that you put all that energy into is consumed for 1 second. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get someone to double tap it and you get that dopamine hit of satisfaction that you want more of, and you get back on the hamster wheel to do it all over again. And slowly over time, this unfulfilling feeling around the things you're creating begins to take over and you get burnt out. Like most artists out there today, most creative people are burnt out because they are falling into the trap of social media. So today I want to do a video talking about what you can do to get yourself out of this trap, get yourself off the hamster wheel, and begin to find fulfillment in the things that you're creating again. Because at this point, if you keep looking at artwork as something that can just be thrown out into the sea of mindless content on the internet, you are going to find yourself burnt out and eventually wanting to quit this thing that you love so much when you started. So today's video is sponsored by ClickUp. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. The first thing that I want to talk to y'all about today is accepting the reality of social media today and adapting to it. If you are a photographer out there creating actually artistic pieces of work, you need to understand that the internet has become like fast food, especially on Instagram. People just go there to consume junk, to waste their time. They go there to watch reels that stimulate all these things in their head. They go there to watch mindless videos that are 15 seconds long with a bunch of text on the screen. They are not going there to consume artwork. So the first thing you need to understand is that artwork doesn't have a place on every social media platform anymore. And if you want your artwork to have a place on these platforms, you need to fit in to the current landscape that is happening on these different platforms. Now, if you're a photographer looking to share your work somewhere where art and creativity is more appreciated, I've talked about this before, Twitter is the way to go. I made a video about this way back in 2020, and I've had people hit me up ever since saying they joined Twitter and they finally built a following there of people who appreciate their work. The reason why is Twitter has tighter communities of creative people. So if you're sharing street photography, it's way easier for people who are also into street photography to find you there. Pockets are smaller. Twitter doesn't have this algorithm feeding everyone constant stimulation. You're not going to get some random cooking reel video on your Twitter if all you do is follow photographers. Twitter in a lot of ways feels like Instagram back in 2014 and 2015. People are sharing photos on there, they're growing, they're building communities, they're having a lot of engagement, and it's fun. So if you're someone who just wants to share your pictures, Twitter is going to be your best bet. It's not guaranteed that you're going to blow up overnight, but I guarantee that you are going to have a better chance of growing there than you will on a platform like Instagram. Now, if you're someone who wants to continue using things like Instagram and TikTok to try to grow your photography audience, you have to accept that these platforms have changed. These platforms have turned into places that are hyper stimulation driven, and unfortunately quality is not as good as quantity on these platforms. So you need to be someone who accepts that maybe just posting my photography is not the best avenue to get it out to the world. Maybe I need to create some type of creative Instagram reel around this. It could be something as simple as you bringing your iPhone up to the camera viewfinder and then doing like a split transition and the photo shows up. Something to adapt to this changing landscape. And if you're someone who wants to use TikTok, the same concept applies. You need to think of a way that your photography can fit into the current landscape of these platforms. Whether you like it or not, the current landscape is hyper-stimulating short-form video. So I'll let you pick and decide what you want to do, but it's going to be a lot easier to just accept this rather than continuing to post your photography and complain and say, Instagram hates photographers. Yeah, they do. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't give a shit about you. Instagram cares about engagement, and what's engaging people right now is these short form videos. I hate to just like hit you with a dose of reality like that, but I just see so many photographers out there constantly posting and complaining about Instagram rather than just accepting the fact that these platforms have changed and you need to figure out where you fit in this new landscape. Now, the second tip I have is for anyone who finds themselves in that hamster wheel type example that I talked about. You're one of those people who post post something to Instagram and immediately feels like I need to post the next thing. I need to get back on my computer and create something. I need to go out and make something again so I can feed this machine that is essentially stealing all the autonomy away from me. If you are one of those people, here's what I recommend. I recommend coming up with a plan of how you are going to get your media out to the world. So if you want to post once every single week, make a plan saying every Friday I'm going to post one Instagram reel that's going to showcase my photography in a creative way. Or if you're someone who wants to stick to posting photos, maybe you set the intention of posting a photo set on Twitter every other day. I'm just throwing those out as examples. You can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to illuminate this idea of giving yourself a set framework that you work in so you can remove this idea in your head that you constantly have to be doing something. If you post once a week, you put all your energy into it, cool, you're done. You can go enjoy your weekend, and on Monday, you can start again trying to create the best thing that you can create. Or if you post your set of photos on Twitter, you set it there, it's done. If it gets a bunch of retweets and a lot of people like it and you gain followers, great. Maybe the algorithm on there will pick it up. But if it doesn't, you're just back tomorrow, continuing the work, continuing the process. And with a plan, you can always go back and refine what's not working. Maybe if you have a plan to post Instagram reels once every single week to showcase your photos, and some of them get a lot of views and some of them don't, you can double down on the ones that get views the following week and see if that grows your account. And you can do the same concept with TikTok as well. But everything right now is so driven by quantity over quality. You are going to drive yourself crazy if you do not have a set in stone plan. And that leads me to the sponsor on today's video, who has been helping me a lot with this exact same problem, ClickUp. Y'all know I've always been a notebook person when it comes to productivity, but one problem with this system is my long-term task management, especially when it comes to this YouTube channel and creating Instagram content. I feel like I'm always behind. I recently started using ClickUp as a task management tool, and it's been a game changer. At the beginning of each month, I add all the tasks that I have to complete for that particular month. And inside of each task, I can add different notes as well as subtasks contained inside of each one. From there, ClickUp sends me an email every day with an update of what tasks are due that particular day and what tasks are coming up. This is great for me because I don't have to constantly reference my long-term calendar to know what is coming up on my schedule. And as I continue to incorporate ClickUp into my workflow, I'm going to use it to manage my invoices as well and also sync with my calendar when it comes to things like events and different promotions that I have coming up, like my course launch and a speaking engagement I have next month. But one thing I'm most excited about with ClickUp is incorporating it into my merch brand 1826, who is managed by myself and my brother. Because my brother works remote, he doesn't have access to me 24/7, but with ClickUp, I can create and manage tasks for both of us to do and track the progress as they're completed. So whether you're someone who is working by yourself as a freelancer or as someone interested in managing multiple people, ClickUp is your productivity answer. And today, ClickUp is hooking up everyone on the channel with 15% off their 1-year plan. That means you can take back your time for as little as $15 a month. Just go to clickup.com and use my code EvanRamp to save that 15%. That's clickup.com. Use my code EvanRamp and you will save 15% today. So big shout out to ClickUp for sponsoring today's video. Now the third and final tip that I have for y'all today is to focus on the physical and focus on the story. Now, these are two things on social media that have gone by the wayside for photographers, and I don't understand why. The first let's focus on is the story. So many photographers have gotten in this bad habit of just sharing their file as a picture. You go out, you make some really beautiful landscape, you put it on your Instagram, and you wonder, why is no one engaging with this? Why does no one care about my photography? The reason is because they don't know you. They don't know what distinguishes you from any other person posting landscape type photos. You need to do something that shares the story behind these things. Don't be afraid to actually create a brand on social media. Yeah, maybe every now and again you share your actual beautiful photo that you make just as a standalone. But don't forget about sharing the photos of you actually getting there, showing the lifestyle behind it, showing the gear you're using, showing different reels and videos of you making the photos, the process behind it. Get creative, build an actual brand. It's not 2015 anymore. People aren't just following pages of pretty pictures. If they were, all these repost pages would still be getting a lot of engagement, but they don't. It's a reality that we're living in. If you are a photographer and you want to use social media, especially Instagram, you have to tell more of a story. And even on Twitter, you can get away with posting standalone photos, but on Twitter, photo sets do really good. And the reason why photo sets do so well on Twitter is because they tell a story. They give more context to images. They really show a well-rounded scene of what's actually happening, and they put people into these moments. Now, the second thing I want to talk about here is focusing on the physical. And this is another way that you can create media for your social media accounts that isn't just you posting a pretty picture. Maybe you think about going out and actually creating that print that you've always wanted to make and share a photo of you actually printing the work. And then if you sell that print to someone, they can have it in their house. The work that you're putting in actually lives on. It lives past that 1 second double tap dopamine hit that you're getting right now. Focus on what I talked about in the side hustle video. Focus on creating small group shows for people to showcase their work in person. Prior to 2014 and 2015, when the internet and social media really blew up, people didn't care about sharing their photos online. People were more interested in creating actual work that was tangible, that people could hold, and creating work for other people to print so they could actually hold it. Focus on that. Get back to the roots of photography and remind yourself why you are doing this. Are you creating just so you can get likes? Or are you creating to make something that actually lives on past you? That's the way I look at it. That's why I love printing my work. That's why anytime I sell a photo, I take it extremely seriously, because that is my opportunity to actually share the thing that I'm making with someone way past the internet. They can look at it every single day on their wall, meaning that whatever I made truly impacted them. So maybe it's time for you to think more about sharing the actual physical things that you're making rather than just the file on your Instagram feed. And if you're someone who's not doing that, maybe give it a shot. Who knows? You might get a DM from someone who wants to buy it, and you'll get that sense of fulfillment that I'm talking about, knowing that someone is not just looking at your piece of work on a screen, but they're staring at it on your wall every single day. So that's the video. Thumbs up, subscribe. See you on the next one.